So, you're a new trader and you're trying to figure out which prop firm is best for you to use in 2026. Maybe you've seen ads promising instant payouts, flashy platforms, or the easiest rules to pass. But here's the truth. If you are just starting out, the best prop firm for you is not the one with the fastest payouts or the flashiest platform. It's the one that helps you build experience, gain emotional control, and build confidence, all without draining your confidence or your budget. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what to look for and, more importantly, what to avoid when deciding what prop firm to use in 2026. We'll talk about the red flags, how to actually play the prop firm game the right way, and yes, I'll share my honest recommendations of firms to use at the end so you can avoid so many of the pitfalls that many traders fall into. So, Part 1, the wrong way to choose a prop firm. Now, it's really important that we go over this because if you're a new trader, what you need to look for is going to be completely different from a trader who has experience with or without prop firms. So, number one thing that you need to pay attention to if you're trying to choose a prop firm is do not focus on fast payouts, flashy platforms, or big payout splits. You're a new trader, you're learning, so these things aren't going to be that important to you. At least they shouldn't be that important to you because you're not yet at the scaling phase. You're not yet at the phase where you're thinking about quitting your job, of going full-time, of trying to earn 5 figures a month in trading. You're not there yet. And so those things that most traders talk about, you're a little early for that. And in fact, most traders are too early for those kinds of considerations. Alternatively, if you're not going to focus on fast payouts or all of these things, what you should focus on is striking the best possible balance between price, rules, and realism. And when I say realism, it's just a fancy way of saying realistic rules in relation to your ability to pass. Okay? So we have to remember, and I say it all the time on this channel, cheap firms are cheap for a reason, guys. If they're cheap on the front end, if it's a cheap price, they're going to be making it up somehow in the back end, whether that's hidden rules, consistency rules, terrible trading conditions and executions and spreads, all sorts of stuff. That is no bueno for new traders. So just because you're new and you're learning and you're getting into the prop firm game does not mean you should just automatically jump to the cheapest possible firm. However, this is not an advertisement for you to just go out and buy the most expensive challenge, right? It's all about focusing on the balance between price, rules, and your ability to pass. Okay, so expensive firms also aren't usually ideal for beginners because premium prices without the skill yet to justify it, right? So there's no point in spending, $1,000 on your first prop firm challenge if you're new to trading, if you're new to prop firms, and realistically, you probably won't pass it. You probably don't want to spend $1,000 on one prop firm. So the lesson here is that if you're new, your goal isn't to pass. I know prop firms are life-changing. We're so excited about them. It's a gold rush. We want to make money. But if you're new, give yourself a bit of grace. Give yourself a bit of patience. Your goal isn't to pass. It's to learn, okay? Your goal is to build experience. Your goal is to build emotional capital. And your goal is to build confidence. If you give yourself the patience that is required to build the craft and the art of trading, build the experience, the confidence, the emotional control, it will pay off tenfold down the road. The reason most traders fail is they don't actually lay a strong foundation in their trading. They skip this step, and that's why they get into all sorts of trouble down the road. So the takeaway is if you focus on survival and learning first, the payouts will take care of themselves later. Give yourself patience, right? If you said to yourself, hey, if I'm going to give myself 5 years to become a great trader, most people don't give themselves 5 years. They say, I have to make money this month, in 3 months, in 6 months. But if you say, hey, I'm going to take a long-term approach on this, if you focus on survival and learning first, it will make a huge difference. So that's part 1, the wrong way to choose a prop firm. Focus on the balance between price, rules, and realism. Okay, if we now go on to part 2, how to play the prop firm game as a beginner. This is a different approach compared to what a more experienced trader will take. And that's completely fine, okay? So step 1 is you can't beat what you don't understand. This is super important, especially if you're gonna join a prop firm challenge that's a little bit on the lower end of price, okay? You need to know every single rule. You need to read the fine print. Super important. Go into the FAQ, go into the terms and conditions. Really understand what the rules are because you can't beat them if you don't know what they are. okay? And step 2 is that you need to accept that you're in the learning phase. If you sign up for a challenge and you risk 2% per trade and you fail the challenge in 3 trades, you have learned nothing. You have gained no experience whatsoever. If you are in the learning phase, give yourself the opportunity to learn by taking as many trades as possible. And you can't do that if your risk of ruin is 100%. Risk 1% per trade, risk 0.5% per trade. Give yourself the opportunity to learn. Don't blow the account in 3 trades, except that you are in the learning phase. Step 3 is to start small. Like I said, there's no point in spending $1,000 on your first challenge, right? You don't need a 100K account to feel serious, okay? Build the muscle first and scale later. If you've been waiting for somebody to tell you, hey, it's okay to ignore all of those payouts on Twitter of, 10K, 15K, 20K payouts on Twitter, it's okay to start small. It's okay to start with a 5K challenge, a 10K challenge. This is your sign. Ignore all of that noise, okay? A lot of those influencers are gamblers anyway. They're not telling you how much they spent on challenges. Build the muscle first and scale later. And step number 4, when choosing the prop firm, okay, you're new to trading, so you need to give yourself the best chance to learn. So avoid these deal breakers. Consistency rules are absolute nonsense. My personal recommendation is to avoid all challenges with consistency rules. It's going to make your life so much harder than it already is. Number 2, news restrictions. You don't have to trade the news to say, hey, I need to make sure I sign up for a prop firm challenge with no news restrictions, because even if you don't trade the news and a prop firm catches you, you just happen to hold a trade during a news event and they close your current account, they breach your payout, that's super annoying. So you don't have to trade the news to benefit from no news restrictions. So avoid those news restrictions and avoid a challenge that has trailing drawdown. A lot of prop firms nowadays still have trailing drawdowns on their challenges. Focus on static drawdown. It will make your life so much easier. The lesson here is that you want to build confidence, not frustration. Like I said, your life is already hard enough. Trading is already hard enough. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. These rules here make passing harder for no reason whatsoever. Okay, so we know how to play the game. We know what to avoid. Now, part 3, my honest recommendations of the firms to consider. Number 1 is Lark Funding, my company. Now, this video is not an ad for Lark Funding whatsoever, but just to mention it, I started the company over 3 years ago. No news restrictions, no consistency rules. We are very flexible, fair rules, nothing hidden. But again, I always want to be as honest and as transparent as possible. We are not the cheapest. So if you're looking for a really cheap prop firm account, we're not for you. Again, remember what I mentioned at the beginning. There are downsides to going with the cheapest. You want to strike that balance, okay? Now, do we strike that balance for new traders? It's dependent on the trader, right? Some yes, some no. Okay, we're designed for traders who are ready to take it seriously. Okay, but like I said, this is not an ad for Lark Funding, but obviously I'm going to mention my company. The second company that I would recommend is the only other company that I have used firsthand when I quit my job to trade full time. I was using FTMO back in 2020, 2021. Okay, they have great reputation and reliability, right? That is, you can't argue that. However, the downside for beginner traders is that their smallest account size is a 10K account. There's no 5K accounts, and it starts at $99. So for some beginner traders, this is going to be a bit of a stretch. It's going to be on the expensive side. On top of that, because they've been around for so long, they still have a little bit more difficult rules. The 10% profit target is one of those rules on phase 1. So a lot of prop firms have an 8% profit target on phase 1. FTMO is still at 10%. But obviously, you can never go wrong with FTMO. Great reputation, reliability. They've been around for a very, very long time. Third option is a budget option, Funding Pips. They kind of launched with, the idea that they were, kind of some of the cheapest challenges. I don't know if they're the cheapest anymore, but they have 5K accounts in the $30 range. So it's ideal for traders that are testing their strategy with less risk. So that's a company that you could check out as well. So I think here, these 3 will give you a good variety of options of things that you could check out. What I highly, highly, highly encourage you is to not fall into the trap of just going with the cheapest, because cheap is expensive long term. Out of all the prop firms, dozens, countless of prop firms that have gone out of business in the last 12 to 18 to 24 months, a lot of those were the cheapest, right? So who cares if you have a cheap prop firm challenge if your payout is going to be denied, if you're not going to be able to pass because the trading conditions are so horrible. So whoever you choose to go with, make sure that they have been in business for at least 2 years and have a Trustpilot score above 4.0. That is really, really important. Let me know in the comment section what prop firm you guys like and which one you're going to go with. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.